I'm learning more and more. I'm trying to learn more about the richest man in the world, Elon Musk, since he decided to buy Twitter and ruin it and turn it into a joke. An ex SpaceX employee wrote something. And like I've said in the past few videos, from what I've seen of him, very cringy, very socially awkward. Everything he says is kind of douchey on Twitter, and he seems utterly incompetent. He seems like he does not know what he's doing. And for someone that was born filthy rich and has never really had to work a hard day in their life and just gets to buy things and be the owner and run things, that's exactly what I expect. We've seen this from another guy. He's orange. And you'll find the similarities, what I'm about to read you, striking between Elon, the description of Elon, and the orange thing. So let me just get this over here so I can read it. Oh, I lost it already. Oh, there it is. All right. Only got one hand here. Gonna try and. Okay, here we go. The print's kind of small, so bear with me. I was an intern at SpaceX years ago, back when it was a much smaller company, after Elon got hair plugs, but before his cult of personality was in full swing. I have some insight to offer here. Back when I was at SpaceX, Elon was basically a child king. He was an important figurehead who provided the company with money, power, and PR. But he didn't have the knowledge or, frankly, maturity to handle day-to-day decision-making. And everyone knew that. He was surrounded by people whose job was essentially to manipulate him into making good decisions. Let me stop there. Who does that sound like exactly? The orange thing. What did the staff at the White House, even though they were mostly handpicked by him, while the orange thing was in the White House, what did they have to spend most of their day doing? Manipulating the orange thing into not doing something crazy. Child king. The orange thing is another entity that was born filthy rich, got all his money from daddy, got a small loan of $1 million to start his businesses. Anyone who uses the phrase small loan of $1 million is not one of us. That is someone that lives in a bubble and has no connection to reality. There is no such thing as a small loan of $1 million. If you paid attention for the 4 years the orange thing was president, in quotes, you would have quickly understood that what basically the White House staff had, what we had as a country, is someone that never matured, a child in a bloated, disgusting 70-some-year-old body, who the only reason was in the White House is because he was born rich. And a lot of rubes thought that meant success because he had more money than they did. And he was on a show called The Apprentice. So basically you had an incompetent child, utter failure in business his entire life, who only survived on his daddy's money and credit and money laundering and other things like that. That the adults in the room had to supervise, keep him away from the electric sockets and shit like that. You know what I mean? Stop him from doing something crazy all the time. A baby. They had to babysit him. This person, this ex-SpaceX employee, is talking about Elon Musk. They had to babysit him. Again, this is another entity that never matured. They were born filthy rich, lived in a bubble their whole life, never had to go through that process of becoming an adult. They just bought their way out of everything. Let's continue. I want to read that last phrase again. Essentially, to manipulate him into making good decisions. People like the Orange Thing and Elon, who never matured, who are totally incompetent, those people are easy to manipulate if you know how. And you have to manipulate them as you would a child if you're a parent. Sometimes you have to manipulate your child into doing the right thing, not acting a fool. Anyone that has children knows this. Anyway, managing Elon was a huge part of the company culture. Even I, as a lowly intern, would hear people talking about it openly in meetings. People knew how to present ideas in a way that would resonate with him. They knew how to creatively reinterpret or ignore his many insane demands. And they even knew how to stage manage parts of the physical office space so that it would appeal to Elon. The company treated him like a child who they had to tolerate, basically, because he had the money. The funniest example of stage management I can remember is this dude on the IT security team. He had a script running in a terminal on one of his monitors that would output random garbage, Matrix style, so that it always looked like he was doing something important on the computer. Why did he do this? For the child that walked around the business acting like he knew what the fuck he was doing and what he was talking about. Elon, that's why he did this. So when Child King Elon walked by and he looked at the computer screen and saw the Matrixy type stuff on the computer screen, he nodded his head like, okay, some work's going on. Let's continue. Things to anyone who walked by his desk. Oh, excuse me. Like he was doing something important on computer. Things to anyone who walked by his desk. Second funniest was all the people I saw playing WoW at their desks after 5 p.m. I don't know what WoW is, but I'm sure. So WoW at their desk after 5 p.m. who did it in the office just to give the appearance that they were working late. People were willing to do that at SpaceX because Elon was giving them money and hype to get into outer space, a mission people care deeply about. The company also grew with and around Elon. There were layers of management between individual employees and Elon. And those managers were experienced managers of Elon. In other words, they managed Elon, the child. Where was I? Again, I cannot stress enough how much of the company culture was oriented around managing this one guy or this one child. Twitter has neither of those things going for it. There is no company culture or internal structure around the problem of managing Elon Musk. And I think for the first time, we're seeing what happens when people actually take that man seriously and at face value. Worse, they're doing this little experiment after this man has had decades of success at companies that dedicate significant resources to protecting themselves from him. And he's too narcissistic to realize it. So, That's the end. Once again, we have a situation where there's a mystique around a billionaire. The orange thing, I don't necessarily believe he was ever a billionaire. I think that's just something he said. That's why he wants to hide his tax returns. Finally, we're about to get the tax returns after what, 6, 7 years? Remember back when he was president and he promised, oh yeah, right after the audit, I'm going to release those tax returns. Every other president, by the way, released their tax returns. Biden released his tax returns. So we know what those guys made and what they paid in taxes and where their money was at. Donald never did that. You ever wonder why, Rubes out there? Why he would want to hide his tax returns for 6, 7 years, take it to the Supreme fucking court, even though he promised to show them back in the beginning and lied about being audited and all that shit. Got something to hide. That's why you want him hidden. Just like his medical records when he sent thugs to steal his medical records from his own doctor. He had something to hide. My guess is syphilitic dementia. That's just my guess, though. He obviously has some condition that he wanted to hide from the public. I'm talking about the orange thing again. His school grades, he has all the schools he went to under threat of litigation if they ever released his grades. That's because he's a dummy. All the rubes out there, this always fascinates me. This doesn't bother any of them. That they can't see his grades. They can't see his taxes. We can't know if he has any medical conditions because that's very pertinent to someone who wants to be the leader of the free world. There's a reason he hides all these things and threatens to sue people and doesn't want you, the rubes, his own cult members, to see them. But again, he's got an R next to his name, so that's all that matters to you people. So why am I wasting my time? So again, what you basically have is people spending all of their fucking time catering to this one person because they're an incompetent fucking child. How many man hours of actual work was lost? How much time was wasted because this person was born rich and has no idea what they're doing? And I'm talking about both entities, Elon and the orange thing here. It's pathetic. And here's what really fucking horrifies me, scares me. And if you lived in reality with me, talking to the MAGA people and the people that vote R no matter what, if you lived in the real reality, in the real, it would horrify you too. It would keep you up at night, what I'm about to say. That orange thing got to run our country for 4 years, the most powerful country on earth. Someone who is a child who wears a diaper, shits his pants daily, and is utterly incompetent, and had the emotional maturity or the maturity of a 5-year-old. That's frightening. That's why after he left office, he thought it was okay to just steal, take classified documents like it's no big deal because he's a fucking child. The fact that that person ever got near the White House, that should fucking horrify all Americans and the world. That should have kept us all up at night. If you live in reality. Too bad a lot of people don't. Elon Musk being the richest man on the planet, running things like Twitter, Tesla, SpaceX, that should horrify you. The type of power a child king has. An immature fool who's utterly incompetent, who asks coders at Twitter to do things in emails like, send me your most salient bit of code that you've written. Someone in computer programming knows how ridiculous a request like that is. Because Elon wouldn't know what he's looking at any fucking way. That motherfucker don't know how to code. He don't know how to build rockets. He don't know how to program cars or build cars. He's the child king. Other people do the work, and he takes the credit. And people, here's another thing that should horrify those of us that live in reality. People worship these children. People worship Elon Musk. People worship the orange thing. They look at him, they look at both of them as their saviors, as greatness, because their daddies had a lot of money to give them. The fact that either of these two children have any power in society whatsoever should scare the living shit out of people. It's bloody fucking horrifying, and it is a testament. These two individuals are the finest testament to the fact that you don't got to be smart to be rich. You don't got to be talented to be rich. You don't got to be mature to be rich. All you got to do is be born that way. And people will call you a genius, and they'll worship you, and they'll give you the keys to the fucking kingdom. My God, humanity is doomed. That's all I got to say. Humanity is fucking doomed that people like this get to be in charge. Fucking doomed. It's horrifying. And I'm sorry, anyone that worships one or both of these individuals, you have a weak mind, or you're misinformed, or you just don't care, or you have another agenda, political, whatever, and you think that one of those or both of those individuals will serve that purpose for you. I don't know. But for my 3 viewers out there, I want you to think about this. The amount of power these two children are and were allowed to have. Just recently, the full self-driving mode for Tesla cars, you can download that now, I think for $15,000. There's a lot of Teslas down here. Where I live, I see them all over the place. Unfortunately, I would personally never buy one. I don't want to have to plug my car in. I want to put gas in it and go. And you're just burning more fossil fuels anyway when you use a plug-in car. There's a coal plant making electricity that you're, using. Same thing. So, and the fossil fuel industry ain't going nowhere anytime soon, unfortunately. So, I've already seen the experts talk about this full self-driving mode that's people are going to be able to download now for their Tesla. It's not perfect by a damn sight. It's nowhere close to perfect. I saw one expert tweet about it. He explained it in great detail. And his first tweet was, it will try and kill you at some point. It doesn't have a brain where it's trying to kill you. What he means is it's going to fuck up at some point. He guarantees it. It's not an if, it's a when. So when these people hit the button and the car's driving by itself, it's going to fuck up. You have to keep your hands on the wheel. You have to stay alert, just as if you were really driving. Do you think people will do that? Of course they won't. Some people will. Hopefully most people will. But come on now, people. We live in America, for fuck's sake. We know how many idiots are here that are going to sit back and play with their phone while the car's driving and stuff like that. I'm also horrified. I'm glad it costs $15,000, so not everyone can afford it, but enough jerk-offs will be able to afford it that some people are going to die because of it. It's not ready. It's not perfected. People call it autopilot. But autopilot would need to be perfect for it to be autopilot, in my opinion, or in reality. You can't call it autopilot if it ain't autopilot. if it's going to crash into something, if it's going to run someone over, if it's going to try and kill you at some point, as one expert said, it ain't autopilot. It's, let's fuck around with it and find out. But, come on, some people, what they're going to do, they're going to sit back and rest, or they're going to play with their phone, or they're going to get on the phone and a lot of wheels turning and doing it. And someone's going to get killed because they didn't perfect this technology, and the U.S. government, and I guess other governments around the world, are just going to let Elon roll it on the fuck out. So it ain't all Elon's fault. The governments of the U.S. government has a bit of blame in this situation too. They should be saying, hey, if this shit ain't perfect, we can't let people use it. But this deal was made a long time ago, I'm sure, to allow this to be rolled out. Every time I go by a Tesla now, I'm going to be fucking all jittery, because I'm wondering if the jerk off in the Tesla is, got it in self-driving mode and it's going to run into me or crash ahead of me, or, you know what I mean? It's going to happen. Everyone who knows anything about this technology knows it is not perfected yet. And guess what? You get the privilege of being, and I get the privilege of doing and being. We get the privilege of being the guinea pigs, even though we don't own a Tesla. We get to be guinea pigs for the child king, so he can make a lot of money on unperfected technology. And I got nothing against electric cars. If you like an electric car, great. What I do have something against is unperfected autopilot. And we all know why, businesses really want to roll it out, right? They want to fire all the taxi drivers and all the delivery drivers and all the truckers. That's the point we're going to get to eventually. That's what they really want. All those truckers that make $18 to $40 an hour, depending on how long you've been doing it, whether you own your truck or you work for a company, or what route you have. That's the real end goal here. We don't, we want to get rid of all them truckers. Do you know how many people are truckers in this world, in this country? Once that technology gets perfected, they're all going to be out of business. That's a job you can actually make a living wage on. You can actually support a family and have an apartment or a house or whatever on trucking wages. All those jobs are going to be gone. That's the real end goal here. Come on. We all know that. I feel sorry for truckers once that day comes, because there's a damn lot of truckers. And that's not an easy job. I sure as fuck would not want to do it. And that's just going to be one more industry: taxis, delivery, truckers. It's going to be a whole, talking about millions of people that will all of a sudden one day not have work for an unperfected technology. Because we know this beta testing, this full self-driving mode stuff, it's going to kill people along the way. We're all going to be the guinea pigs in this grand fucking experiment. I can't wait. Can you? So not only are people going to die as this technology gets perfected and dumbasses are chilling and, doing God knows what in their cars while the cars in self-drive mode and, ending up killing people, crashing. Also down the line, millions of people are going to be put out of work again due to automation. And like I said in the other video the other day, I guess when there's no jobs left at all, because eventually there's going to be AI to do all the jobs that people think, people that have jobs where they think in their head, I'm too smart to be replaced. Wait till artificial intelligence is perfected. Artificial intelligence can write poems, do creative work, do paintings, do artwork, solve all kind of problems. Now, imagine when it's perfected. So when we get to this point, when there's absolutely no jobs for anyone left except for, billionaire oligarchs that were born rich, I'm hoping businesses will be like, well, damn, there's no one left to buy our shitty products. What do we do now? I'm hoping then maybe they'll be like, all right, maybe we shouldn't automate everything, and maybe we should give people jobs, and maybe we should pay them enough to live. But come on, we know that's never going to happen. As long as 10% of the population has enough money to survive, no one's going to give a fuck. And no one's going to do anything about it. So I'm also horrified about the new rollout of the beta full self-driving mode for Teslas, because I know how lazy, stupid, inconsiderate people are. And they're going to be doing dumb shit when, at this point, the Tesla self-driving, the new one you can download for your Tesla, at this point, the experts are telling you, you need your hands on the wheel the whole time. You need to be ready to engage the brake or the gas, turn the wheel when this thing fucks up, because it's going to fuck up. We're telling you it's going to fuck up. So again, we get to all be the guinea pigs. For the Tesla owners, for the people that own the company or run the company, Elon, so he can make money, and the people that own the cars that are driving them today. We get to be part of an experiment we never signed up for. And again, I want to be clear here. I've got nothing against electric cars. I do have something against unperfected autopilot, which isn't autopilot because it's not perfected. You can't call something autopilot if it ain't fucking perfected. It's autopilot like some of the time. And it might try and kill you or kill someone else. Anyway, my main point with this video is we have entities on this planet, many of them running things, who are child kings, who are incompetent, who have not matured past 5 years old, 8 years old, who other adults that weren't born filthy fucking rich, other adults that aren't in charge have to monitor like children, have to babysit. And these people are given and can buy the keys to the fucking kingdom. And even worse yet, dumbasses, weak-minded people worship these individuals and hand them the keys to the kingdom. God, that's frightening and horrifying. Have a good day.